So we've discussed the three primary chords in a major key, the 1, the 4, and the 5, and those chords are all major. Now, let's bring in that drop third relationship that I explained in tutorial number 5. Remember we said the drop third chord is like a minor relative to a major chord. So let's start with the 1 chord, back to the key of C. Drop the third, and you have the 6, or the 6 minor 7. Notice that this is a minor chord. So along with the primary chords of 1, 4, and 5 in a key, the 6 chord is another chord that is used a lot. It's really important, though, that you understand that the 6 chord relates to the 1. It's in the same family as the 1, and you can often interchange the 1 and the 6. So the 6 sometimes functions as an intermediate chord between the 1 and the 4. So the chord progression might go 1, 6, 4. Let me give you an example. And then I'll just go to the 5. Now take the 4 chord and drop the third. So in the key of C, drop the third. This gives you the 2, or the 2 minor 7. Now the 2 and the 4 are also in the same family of one another, and they can be used interchangeably as well, as long as your bass instruments are all in agreement. The most common function of the 2 is in place of the 4 in that standard progression that we played earlier. So let me play a 1, 4, 5, 1. Now substitute the 2, or the 2 minor 7, in place of the 4. Let me play that in the key of F. Here's the key of F. Here's a 1, 4, 5, 1. Now let's, instead of a 4, let's do a 2. Hear how it has the same function, but it's just a sweeter sound. It's more interesting. The other progression in which the 2 commonly appears is a progression moving between the 1 chord. I'll go back to the key of C, between the 1 chord and the 1 chord in first inversion. Let me show you what I mean. So a 1 to 2 to 1, 6. Then typically goes to the 4. See, that's driven by the bass motion again. 1, 2, 1, 6, and 4. That would be a C, D minor 7, C over E to F. Let's try it in the key of F. 1 chord, which is F, 2, 7, which is a G minor 7 chord, a 1 in first inversion, which is an F over A, and then go to a 4 chord, which is a B flat. Now, the last of the 3 major chords, the 5, let's go back to the key of C. 1, 5, 1. The 5 also has a drop third companion, and that's the 3, or the 3 minor 7. Now, just say you don't see this chord as often, probably because although it looks like a drop third relative to the 5, it doesn't really belong with the 5. They don't really agree. They don't play nice together. The 3 chord is a chord all by itself, and it's less common. Okay, so to review, you have your 3 primary chords, 1, 4, 5. Add to this the 6, or the 6 minor 7, which frequently appears as a relative of the 1. Then you also have the 2, or the 2, 7, which is a relative of the 4. It's a little less common than the 6, but you still get it quite a bit. And then you have the 3, which is rarely used. Okay, it's your turn. Play the following chord progression in a couple keys. Let's say G, F, and D. See if you can figure out the chords for yourself. A 1, a 6 minor 7, and then a 4, and then a 2 minor 7, a 5, and a 1. So See if you can figure out the chords yourself. Pause the tape, and then I'm going to play these chords in these 3 keys, and I'll name the chords as we go. Start with the key of G. So here's a key of G. I'm going to keep it simple. Here's a 6 minor 7. Here's a 4 chord, which is that was an E minor 7. Here's a 4 chord, which is a C. Now a 2-7, which is an A minor 7. Now a 5 chord, which is a D. And back to 1. See that I'm not really doing anything fancy with the right hand, which we'll talk about later. Now let's go next to the key of F. Same progression in the key of F. Here's the 1 chord, the 6 minor 7, which is the D minor 7. Now the 4 chord, which is the B flat. Now drop the 3rd to the 2 minor 7, which is the G minor 7. Now to the 5 chord, which is the C. And now back to the 1, F. Last one, key of D. D chord, the 1, drop the 3rd to the 6 minor 7, which is a B minor 7. Now down to your subdominant, your 4 chord, which is a G. Drop the 3rd to a 2 minor 7, which is an E minor 7. Now to the 5 chord, and back, that's an A, back to the 1 on D. Again, I would try this in every key. B major, G sharp minor, E, C sharp minor 7, F sharp major, back to B. It is worth your time to get comfortable in these chords, and you want to keep them simple for now, because when you learn what members are in the chord, later you can, once you get mastery of those, then you can always add color, you can add rhythmic fills, you can add melody. We'll talk about all those later, but for now, take time to familiarize yourself with this kind of rich chord progression, rich but standard chord progression in every key.